Thank you for joining us today. My name is Usman Shakil, and I lead the Customer Data and Insights organization within AWS and Amazon Connect. And today I'm going to be joined with Rohan Shah, who's the Director of Customer Data and Identity at United Airlines. And we're going to be talking about how companies transform customer experiences with the power of unified data. So yes, that's us. So we'll start with why a data foundation matters. We'll quickly get into the different aspects of using the data foundation, which enables you to really unify your data, enrich your data, and activate based on that data. And then we'll transition into the customer story with United Airlines, how they're using some of our capabilities in order to really evolve and transform their customer experiences. And then we'll wrap up with some Q&A depending on if we have time. So hope you enjoy it. So we're quickly seeing that all aspects of an organization or an enterprise, whether it is different aspects of the customer journey, whether it is from contact center support to marketing, advertising, sales, all the different touch points of how a customer really interfaces with a business or a company. Companies want to hyper-personalize these experiences and really want to be relevant at the moments that matter. So why they want to do that? Because they want to deliver, first of all, relevant and timely customer experiences, whether it is kind of giving them nudges in terms of items they want to upsell or cross-sell. They want to also look at how the customers are interfacing with their properties, on their own properties or their external properties, let's say third-party social media or where they are showing their advertising. But they want to really anticipate what is the customer trying to do when they are interfacing with their different properties. And then they want to get insights from these interactions, the real-time interactions that the customers have, and they want to offer integrated solutions for outbound communication channels and inbound contacts. And we are quickly seeing that, where we started, all these aspects of the customer journey, they're all interconnected across the different phases within the enterprise. And as these companies, as these different touch points are moving towards agentic applications where AI-based agents, whether those are chatbots or automated workflows that are taking place in the background, they all need these real-time customer signal or interactions in order to be really relevant in the moments that matter for that specific end customer. And that really is what we call hyper-personalized, because it used to be the case where companies would take like a batch of data in the form of a data lake or wherever and be able to create segments or generic segments or audiences and then try to reach out to them. But with this, companies are really trying to push and want to create a highly specialized and a highly personalized experience for every single session, for every single customer that is interfacing with their different properties. So we have established that the data is extremely important in order to create these hyper-personalized experiences for the end customer. But what we hear from companies and our customers is that only 30% of customers today have a common data platform. And data is all across multiple different, call it platforms, applications that we will kind of go into. And with that, only 52.9% of customers say that they have a single source of truth for their customer. And yes, I know that all of us are kind of evolving very quickly and transforming customer experiences towards agentic platforms and agentic applications. But your AI is only good as your data is. Because if your data is not good and if it's all across the different places and you don't have a unified view of your customer, then yes, you can have a really amazing sort of application experience, but then that's not going to be really relevant to the end customer. So unified customer profiles provides a foundation to understanding customers and hyper-personalizing experiences. We already talked about it. And what is unified customer profiles? It's really a unified view of your customer or your end customer across all the different journeys, across all the different touch points that customer has with your brand. This is a quote from one of our customers in the travel and hospitality space, where they talk about understanding of the hotel guests, what their preferences are, what their historical transactions have been with their brand, and is extremely important to deliver exceptional experiences. And to enable this, they must consolidate their data into a unified view. And what we see today is actually there is a ton of different challenges that these companies are faced with. Specifically, first of all, your data is siloed across so many different applications, channels, and data sources, right? You have, let's talk about airlines or travel and hospitality systems. There is operational systems, flight information, flight statuses, loyalty systems. You have your CRM systems, your CDPs, like all these different universe of, call it, data lakes or data sources that are out there that you need to consolidate and bring together. And data is really incomplete, or it's in different shapes and forms across these systems, because all these data structures for these applications is really proprietary, right? So like, how do you bring it? And a lot of it could be conflicting information. How do you match data from these multiple data sources? And then more importantly and lastly, like moving data across. So again, different applications, proprietary systems, data across different silos. If you're moving those data across into a unified view, how do you make sure that at any given time you have a single source of truth? And then secondly, if you're constantly copying and refreshing these data sources, given you have data about the customer, there is a big risk with respect to security and privacy of that customer data. So at AWS, our mission and our charter is to help companies, help organizations really open up the power of this data by enabling them to very easily and seamlessly unify their data from multiple different data sources, have the ability to match these data sources and enrich these data sources with incoming signals, including real-time signal. So that's where you marry the historical or your historical data as well as your transactional or the real-time interaction data, and then generate really powerful insights based on this real-time data and historical data together and create these insights in real time that companies can use to activate. And when we say activate could be, like sending out marketing messages and showing an ad, or even powering an agentic application that takes a specific action on behalf of the customer. So that's really what we are trying to do, and we will kind of dive deep into some of the services and some of the capabilities that we offer in this regard. So first of all, AWS Entity Resolution, that is a service we offer that enables companies to be able to match identity or entity very easily, both in a rule-based fashion as well as a ML-based engine or matching engine. We offer Amazon Connect customer profiles that enables companies to personalize customer experiences with a real-time view of their customer. So when we talk about unification of this data, this is the data store where you're bringing in your data from multiple different silos, both your historical data as well as real-time data. And then Amazon Connect outbound campaigns that enables companies to activate the insights that they get from this unified data set or single view of their customer and activate their data by reaching out to their customers from within Connect and outside of Connect or beyond, or outside Connect applications. So that means contact center applications, you could send in marketing, et cetera, across the different channels. So the way we look at it, this entire sort of set of challenges is kind of like, or capabilities is a set of layer cake, right? That will be the kind of analogy that I would use. So first, let's start at the bottom, right? Companies want to unify, as I talk about unify, enrich, and activate. So you want to unify your data sets. You want to bring the data in or sync the data. You want to do identity resolution, data enrichment, and then once you have all this data in one single data set, you want to potentially be able to collaborate in a privacy-enhanced way with your third-party partners. So for example, like if you're unifying your data across your applications, you have a unified view of a customer within your organization, right? What if you want to expand it to the same customer across a different organization? So we offer AWS clean rooms there for privacy enhanced collaboration as well, and we'll talk about it in the context of how United Airlines is using it. The second layer is enrichment of this data. So again, as I talked about, right, like unification, then you want to get into enrichment. That's where you want to talk about, you want to do things like create audiences based on the different demographic within your data set, based on different interactions that the customers have. You want to do personalization. So what are the next sort of best actions or touch points for that particular set of customer or that particular segment or audiences? You want to measure the effectiveness of the action that you took. So for example, if you send out a marketing email or a nudge within an app, you want to run analytics. And then activation. Activation could be across multiple different channels, as I talked about, where all the different touch points where this particular customer is interfacing with your brand, whether that is advertising, web or mobile properties, proactive engagement that you want to reach out to them, or customer service. So let's dive into this. So as I talked about, in the case of data unification, we offer AI-based entity resolution capabilities. That's really a pre-configured machine learning and artificial intelligence-based engine that matches the different records across your customer data. So you could have your CRM system on one side, you could have your loyalty system on another side, you could have your operational system on the third side. How do you bring it all together? If that the same person across all these systems who may have registered or be known across, how do you match it across? And what you will find is, what we find actually from our customers is that the accuracy of this matching varies from use case to use case. For example, in the airline use case, if you want to reach out to a customer whose flight is delayed, or there is an actual transaction, you want to make sure that the identity match, you're very highly confident there. Whereas in the case of like sending out a blast marketing email, the identity doesn't have to be fully accurate, right? So that's where we offer really configurable capabilities for our customers to be able to use this identity matching. From rule-based matching, where customers define or companies define what are the different sort of rules that they want to use to create these identity matching, to actually ML-based matching that we offer, which is like predefined ML models that could look at the different records and offer match confidence rate. So in this case, the slide actually shows for our ML-based matching, we're actually industry leader, showcasing 92% match rate. And we offer over 8 models or 8 ML AI-based models with billions of parameters combined to deliver industry-leading match accuracy. And some of these models, they're listed down below, where we can do matching based on the email, we can do matching based on the name, and multiple different models, like even similarity-based models. We also offer deterministic matching, as I mentioned early on, where you can configure the matching rules, whether that is like a simple name, address based matching, or kind of getting into more complex algorithms. And I won't kind of get into the details here, but the idea being that these capabilities that we've built, we've kept in mind that these are highly configurable by companies, by customers, so that they can use these capabilities easily and use the type of the accuracy that they need for their specific use case. It's easy to set up. There is minimal or no data movement, and just like all other AWS services, it's really pay-as-you-go model. So you're not paying for keeping these ML models running or training these models. All of that stuff has been done. We simply charge you based on the number of records that actually match. Let's move on to enrichment of your data, and we talk about the unified customer profiles in this case. So unified customer profiles is really a generative AI augmented data mapping for Amazon Connect customer profiles. So what it does is, first of all, we offer out-of-the-box connectors to major data sources or applications, if you will, and we accelerate customer data onboarding by automatically mapping data from sources such as Salesforce, Adobe, and many other homegrown apps. So like you simply point and click to, let's say, your Salesforce data set, your Adobe data set, and we'll be able to pick that up and map it into the customer profiles application. And it reduces the onboarding time from weeks to hours based on a GenAI-powered no-code data mapping solution and profile schema that we just launched actually for airlines, hotels, and loyalty programs. So specifically, the example I would give is, in the case of airlines, for example, you have operational data or operational systems that have flight status, and then you have your customer loyalty system. Let's say you want to reach out to all your, platinum or 75K or whatever you want to call it, customers who had their flight delayed or their baggage lost, now baggage system is separate, in the past week, right? So it's multiple data joins that you have to go do. Now, if you were to go map these systems, our customers tell us that it's several months worth of work from their data engineers. Whereas what we've done here is we've taken just recently, we actually launched it last Friday, where we have travel and hospitality specific system integrators now, specific schema mappings in place that offer customers, a very seamless sort of experience, and it reduces the onboarding time. I talked about the pre-configured resources for airlines and hotels. That also accelerates customer analysis and minimizes time to value for companies. And then you can actually see a customized view of your customer data. This is our customer profiles profile viewer or profile explorer, where you can go in and for every single segment or every single customer, you can drill down and understand the key aspects. For example, how much money they've spent with my brand in the past year. What are the kind of items that they are more interested in, and then be able to run very specific campaigns from there. We have intelligent segmentation, which is actually a new enhancement for Amazon Connect customer profiles as well. So what that does is it uses generative AI to enable business users to define customer segments in plain English. As I talked about the example earlier, where, hey, as an airline, I want to look at all my 75K or my Platinum Elite who lost their luggage in the last week, and I want to reach out to them. So you just type in that specific, that exact sentence in plain English, and it matches that data set, and brings you the query results, and one click, you can reach out and send them an email with a credit for a future flight, as an example. You can also get segment recommendations based on real-time trends. So in the airline industry, and Rohan will talk about it, there is oftentimes when there are delays or there is operational issues or outages going on, right? And so based on those trends, I see that, hey, Newark is kind of congested these days, right? And what am I gonna do based on that? Can I create a segment of all my Platinum Elite users who are traveling in the next week and be proactive about their experience? So if I see that there may be a pain coming in the future, can I do something proactively, maybe rerouting them or do something for them to avoid that pain? This is really taking it to the next level of customer experience. And then Amazon Connect outbound campaigns is really a set of capabilities that offer you to activate your data in Amazon Connect and beyond. So Amazon Connect offers companies to be able to reach out, like it's contact center and other customer experiences. So first, we predict customer intent based on, or customer need based on the insights we get from unified customer profiles. We can access the full view of the customer, and then we can engage instantly with them. So for example, with outbound campaigns, you can send out transactional emails, you can send out transactional messages, etc. And you're not just limited to, let's say, using outbound campaigns within Connect. As I mentioned, right, you can go beyond. You could use any marketing tool with that and be able to send out marketing emails, for example. You can activate these signals with any advertiser or any publisher that you're working with to send out or buy advertising in that case as well. So this is really like the overall full picture, where, you know, on the left-hand side, capabilities for data unification, data enrichment, and activation in real time. So with that, it is my pleasure to ask Rohan to come at the stage and talk about United Airlines Customer 360 journey. Hi, Rohan.
Hello, everyone. My name is Rohan Shah, and I'm a Director of Data, Identity, and Connected Media Technologies at United Airlines. My team and I are obsessed with delivering personalized experiences to our customer. And what I mean by that is, imagine you are at the airport, and your flight just got canceled. And you receive a marketing text from us that says, upgrade your seats. And that's the kind of mix-up we are fixing with products like AWS Entity Resolution and Customer Profile. Today, I'm here to share how we are taking an ownership of changing all these challenges, what we see on a day-to-day basis at United. Okay? But before we dive further, let's understand the United digital landscape. Okay. All right. Now, United is not just an airline. It's a digital powerhouse. Almost 90% of the customer interactions happens digitally between booking and boarding. Our mobile app is the #1 in the industry, downloaded by several or millions of users, millions of times, and has won several awards for its seamless experience. And many of you may have used here to get over here. Okay. All right. Many of you are familiar with our traditional loyalty program called Mileage Plus. As part of the membership program, we have about 150 million customer profile. And many of these customers have provided their consent to use their data for personalization as well as marketing purposes. But the real challenge is that 50%. 50% of our daily travelers are non-members. And when, it's not sufficient for us to just know about our member customer. I should be knowing about every customer who travels with us on a daily basis, be it a member, non-member, or just a window shopper on our website. I should be knowing about everyone. We fly majority of the airport across the United States. We fly billions of miles, millions of hours. But I want you to zoom in on that last number. On an average, a user spends about 3.5 hours staring at that screen in flight in front of them, right? And they want that screen to be personalized, right? And they want United to kind of deliver that experience for them. And that's a very powerful statement, how products like AWS Entity Resolution as well as Profile can help develop that experience for our customer. So last year, we launched travel media network called Connected Media. Okay. Connected Media is, think about, let me just play a short video before it can give you an intro into what exactly it's all about.
What if you could connect and engage with millions of travelers throughout their travel journey? Introducing a world-first traveler media network, Connective Media by United Airlines. Connective Media combines our rich travel and loyalty data with our unique media channels to make connections that matter the most for brands, reaching travelers throughout their journeys. From check-in to the United Club lounges, at the gate, on our new in-flight entertainment screens, our award-winning mobile app, and we continue to reach travelers even when their trip is over. And we're committed to protecting our customers' data and privacy every step of the way to earn and maintain their trust. And we are just getting started. Welcome to Connective Media by United Airlines. We help brands and travelers make connections.
And we are the only airline in the United States that's launched Travel Media Network. And Connected Media is the reason that accelerated the whole journey of customer identity and personalization for United. To support the connected media initiatives, we divided the customer data needs into 3 categories or 3 buckets. Right? Now, when it comes to delivering a personalized experience on our digital channels, we do a decent job. But it's limited to Mileage Plus members only. Okay? For non-member, the experience starts with the trip and ends with the same trip. And what I mean by that, every time as you book or travel as a non-member, we treat you as a net new customer because we did not have the right identity foundation to tie your data together. Okay? And we wanted to build this identity foundation in a safe and secure way. I want to make sure that customer consents are fully integrated with this foundation. Okay? So knowing just an identity is not sufficient to drive the personalized experience. And similar to every other organization, we also struggle with fragmented data problem. And what I mean by that is, recently we received a note from a global service customer. He booked a reservation with United and noticed the known travel number, or also known as TSA pre-number, was missing on his reservation. And when we looked into it, what we identified is there are 2 applications doing the exact same job, okay? And but not talking to each other. And that's the kind of bad negative that creates a negative experience for our customer. And how do we improve that? So that is where the AWS profile comes into play that can help us identify these challenges. So what we did, we used Usman talked about the GenAI segmentation capability. We wanted to understand how big or how wide this problem is. Our business user wrote a simple query, identify all the reservation that has a Mileage Plus number associated with it, but missing the known traveler number. In a matter of seconds, just seconds, we got to know that 1.3 million customer profiles were impacted by that. And that's what we want. We want something with a speed, right? All right. So we launched identity resolution last year, okay? And I want you to kind of go a little bit deep into explaining what are the challenges we faced. If you look at the left side of the chart, what you'll notice is there's a multiple or duplicate profiles of the same customer. In this case, Jen Smith. Let me explain why. So Jen Smith goes to United.com, sign up for a loyalty program, book a reservation, save her preferences. Okay, all good. We create a unique ID. The next time Jen Smith comes back, she decides to go to third-party agent or local agent and book a reservation, but missed applying the Mileage Plus ID. Legally, when that happens, even though the contact information are same, we have to keep the member profile and the non-member profile separately. So what we did, we end up creating another ID for her. Now, the same Jen Smith got married, changed her last name, or has a net new contact information. That will also result in another ID into the backend. Now, if a business user asks me how many times Jane Smith has traveled with United as a member, the answer is going to be 1. But that's not true. I know for sure that she has traveled more than 3 times. And that is where the power of AWS Entity Resolution machine learning workflow come into play. What it does, it collapses similar looking profile into a single view, including associated attributes with that. And it also gives you a confidence score. In this case, what it means is we are 90% confident that Jane Smith profile, or all those 4 profiles belong to the Jane Smith. So that's the power of AWS Entity Resolution. Okay. Since the launch, we have seen many benefits. One of them is we identify about 35% of our profiles were duplicate, and that means 95 million in numbers. And that's huge, right? That's huge. And it's not about identifying just the duplicates. It's also about giving that experience. So what I mean is, now I can aggregate a view of all the profiles into a single view, and I know what exactly customer did. So for example, if you started watching movie, let's say you're traveling as a member, and you started watching movie Fast and Furious. For whatever reason, you were not able to complete. Next time you come back as a non-member, I would like you to give the experience that you can resume where you left off. And that's the power it gives us for now. In addition to identifying the duplicates, we were able to reduce the cost overall we were spending by consolidating all the infrastructure together. So that's a good win for our business. Okay. Last month, we launched Starlink. It's a true living room in the sky experience. And if you have not tried it, I would highly recommend try it out. You'll be very excited by using that. You can. An identity foundation is fully integrated with our Starlink product. But that's not enough. And here's why. No two customer experiences are the same. And what I mean by that is, if you're flying with solo or with family, the experience of the customers are different, including business versus leisure. And let me explain what I mean by that. So let's say you're traveling from Chicago to Singapore, and you have a connection in San Francisco. Now, the person sitting next to you has a final destination, which is San Francisco. And in that case, the person is interested in knowing, where's my bag? What baggage claim I need to go to pick up my bags, right? For you, it's a completely different need, which is you want to know, do you have enough time to visit lounge? Or do you have enough time to pick up the food from the restaurant before you go to the next gate? So that's the power of AWS customer profile we are using to kind of change those experiences for our customer. Okay. Also, most important thing, feedback. We want to know your feedback. We want to know what movies you like. We want to know what food you like, right? And including seat preferences, including your wheelchair needs, etc. We want to know that. The more feedback you provide to us, the better it gets in terms of the experience we can deliver to you, right? One example I'll give you about Stroop Waffle. We heard your feedback. We discontinued Stroop Waffle last year. We got the customer feedback, and we brought it back. And that's the power of feedback, right? And everything what we are doing, we want to make sure that we do it in secure and privacy way, making sure that customer data identity is surrounded with all the privacy and consent platforms. Okay. So the first use case using the customer profile went last month or early April. Okay. And 10% of our campaigns today are onboarded on customer profile. Since the launch, we were able to suppress almost 10,000 marketing notification to the customer who were impacted by irregular operation like flight cancel or flight delays. And you may be thinking 10,000 is a very low number. Honestly, it's a 10,000 less unsubscription. So it's very powerful. The next 2 use cases the teams are working on it right now is preferences. Every time you fly with us, we always ask you the same set of questions. Do you need wheelchair? Do you want a seat in the aisle or window? Rather than learning from your past experience or behavior and applying those rules to your reservation directly. And we want to improve that. I'll give you another example. If you have flown out of India ever, the government regulations require you to visit in person, make sure your agents are looking at your documentation before they can complete your check-in process. But what we do instead, we force you to go through the entire check-in process on mobile app or united.com. And finally, we say, see an agent at the airport. We should be giving you the clear instruction. Just go ahead to the airport and just go on from there. So that's the thing we are talking about, how we're going to improve going forward. Okay. Now, customer can interact with various channels across United, right? But the challenge what we have is these channels don't talk to each other. Okay. And so let me give you another example. You're upgrading your seats on mobile app, and you ran into some error. Then you moved on to united.com. You tried the exact same thing over and over, but no luck. The next thing you're going to do is pick up the phone and call the contact center agent. The first question the agent is going to ask you is, did you try the self-service option on .com and mobile? And then you have to explain all the errors you saw it on the .com, rather than giving you a simple instruction of what should be your next step to kind of move to upgrade your seats. Okay. And another thing is, which we are actively working on, is when you start watching a movie in club, how can you resume in flight or in the sky, rather than finding that movie on that big screen and resuming from there. So that's a true omni-channel experience that the teams are working on. And AWS profile was the first step in the puzzle. With that, I'll invite Usman to kind of wrap up the conversation.
So just to wrap up, we thought we'll spend some time, talking about how the different teams across AWS and team at United work together to make this into reality. So Rohan, maybe if you want to talk about, some of these things here, like how did you guys define the problem? What was it like in terms of the partnership between the teams to create the POCs? And then how did you evangelize across? So you guys started with a small one use case, but you have very large aspirations that we are super happy and excited about.
Yeah. The first thing happened to us was Connective Media. And the question our new CEO, Richard Nunn, asked is, how many unique customers do we have in our ecosystem? And we had no answer. We knew about our member customer, but we did not know anything about our non-member customers. So that was the biggest thing to kind of solve. That's a very small in terms of knowing how many unique customers you should have. You should be knowing it. You have all the PNRs and everything. You should be knowing it. But honestly, with the non-member and the complexity it brings, which I kind of showed you in the previous screens, it creates a big problem for us. So that was the big problem to solve. And the second thing which we thought is start with a small impact, right? But that impact customer as well as improve the overall business process. And that's why we picked with the AWS customer profile, the product where how do we improve the overall experience of the customer where they are impacted by all these flight delays and cancel. And last thing you asked about evangelize, right? It's not enough to work in a silo. You should be talking about, we need to kind of explain what is this United customer ID, what is this marketing ID, and make sure that everyone across the United understand that, the benefit of it, the power of it. And so you need to kind of make sure that everyone understand the benefit of what exactly we are working on and not to work in silos. So those are the few learnings we had.
That's awesome. And what I would like to say, right, as Amazon, we're really customer focused and we work backwards from what our customers' needs are. And what I would say, my experience, my team's experience working with Rohan and team was there was a lot of unknowns. We did not know. This is where we really had to partner together to get us to this next generation, or next evolution, I should say, really, of customer experiences that matter. So appreciate the time, Rohan, and thank you for the continued partnership here. We'd like to open it up for a few questions. Heidi has the mic there, so if you have any questions, please feel free to answer a question. No questions?
We did really well.
There's one right there.
How long was the endeavor from beginning to end to doing that UCID creation and that whole transformation? Can you answer? I mean, maybe it started small and evolved, but I'm just curious. It's a huge undertaking, so I'm just really curious. Was it years? How many years? Just general curiosity.
Maybe I'll start and then Rohan, if you can answer. So I would say when we started, this was truly like a partnership between the two teams, where we were first trying to understand the use case that Rohan and team had, and at the same time, so some of the use cases, for example, transactional messages, etc., or kind of looking at, let's say, first two different systems that we want to do the identity match, and we could do, let's say, a rule-based match that was very quick. I would say maybe a week or so, a couple of weeks, and then we get into further use cases where we need a more similarity type of a match using machine learning type of capabilities. Again, Rohan can speak to it, but my experience working with the team was that it was fairly quick, but then it's about making sure that what is the accuracy of it? How are you going to test that accuracy, right? That's where it takes time initially to make sure that accuracy is good enough for the use cases that the team is looking for. And really, it was a lot of learning experience for our teams, where we are now in terms of the product evolution, in working with Rohan and team in the past, I would say 6 months to a year, we're a long ways in terms of the new features and capabilities. Ron, you want to add it?
So we met with AWS during the similar conference back in 2022 of December. And what we shared our challenges, as I explained to you today. And we decided to do a quick pilot. So those who don't know, we are AWS native shop. So it was easy for us to kind of start building the pilot for solving this identity challenge. It took us almost about 2 weeks, and majority of the time we spend is getting the access for everyone to make sure that we can build the solution. So truly, for implementation or development, it was like very quick. The time where we spent is evangelizing, making sure that everyone understands the problem, what we are trying to solve. So. Yeah.
There's a question here. Oh.
Hi. First of all, this is awesome. Love this talk. We're going through a similar kind of transformation process. I'm curious about how the data foundation ties into your contact center, or is it going all the way down to your contact center now, and how those experiences are unified. So I'm here supporting a contact center, but I also do communications and MarTech, and I would love to get this unified kind of cross-functional use of this data across all those channels. So I was wondering how you guys did that, and into the contact center specifically, I guess, because we're here. So yeah.
The vision of the products here really is, it starts with what we call uniformity, right? Which is across all the different aspects of the customer journey, whether it's contact center, marketing, advertising. That's really the kind of charter that we have, to have a consolidated, unified view that could be used anywhere. And like very quickly, organizations are evolving into agentic applications that talk to each other autonomously behind the scenes, right? And so we want to make sure that data and insights is available there. I'll let Rohan speak to like, how does that journey look like in the context of United?
I think I talked about the omni kind of experience. The first problem to solve was to kind of have a right identity solution across, so we can tie the data together. So we have that in place now, and the next step is to kind of bring all the data together from airport operations, from contact center, from digital channels, and bring everything, like create a one single customer 360. So that's something we are actively working on. And the next step is to how do we integrate that and give the power in the hand of the agents, so they can see what exactly went, last 10 interaction of the customers, and they can make a decision from that on.
Today, these customer profile-based data profiles and insights segments are available in Connect downstream applications. For example, Q in Connect. It uses the data from customer profiles behind the scenes.
Hi. Earlier, y'all were sharing some interesting data about the benefits of the effort, right? Like in terms of revenue generation, some other data points. I'm wondering, Rohan, if you're able to share any ways that y'all were able to measure those outcomes. Was there any strategy that y'all approached? Because I assume that y'all had to make a business case to your finance teams to invest in all of this, right? So any data you're able to share about how y'all approached this, identifying the data points and measuring them?
You want to start?
Yeah, you can.
I can go for it. So as I mentioned earlier, for connected media business, which is based on the customer data foundation, right? Which we need to know how many customers we have that we can target. And in that as well, we need to kind of understand who are our premium customers, who are daily travelers, active, inactive, so we can have we can give the power to kind of advertiser to target those customers on our on-site properties, right? And that's the business case we created. We wanted to understand like how many unique we have, then categorize into every category and share that and tie those to a number. What kind of increase in revenue or overall experience we will see. One of the things which we will notice in the past is like, if you go to united.com, doesn't matter it's you or any of your family members or friends, you will see the same exact ads, right? And same thing we will play over and over and over. Doesn't matter you have ignored many times. And that's what it brings in terms of the customer experience, but also it helps us targeting, advertising with the targeted ads.
You were talking about how you guys were able to send 10,000 less messages that are
that's another example because, even though we're seeing that these are just a low number, but if you are sending 10,000, notification, or we send billions of email notification to the customer. But when you are impacted by some cancellation or delay or diversion, the first thing what you're gonna do is unsubscribe, right? And that's the power. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's really kind of taking those experiences to the next level, right? Like how many times I have not seen, aside from what Rohan's talking about, where I'm watching a movie and, you know, in the lounge and I can continue it in my flight, right? It's like that kind of seamless experience, taking to the next level is pretty awesome. Well, thank you very much for the time.
Thank you.
Hope you guys enjoyed it.